My brother has a bumper sticker on his snowboard with the words from a Jimi Hendrix quote on it that says, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." Love is a powerful thing. And for home to be a loving place is so foundational to us embodying the sixth principle of Unitarian Universalism, the goal of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. As Lao Tzu writes, if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Reverend McCarr spoke last Sunday about finding peace in one's heart, about achieving states of Zen awareness that allow us to be at home in our heart space. Today, I want to talk about how and why we cultivate love in our homes. And there are so many ways to do this. One of the ways that love shows up in our homes is through composting. I did not realize until my spouse, Annie, and I bought a home about 2 years ago, and I started my own compost pile for the first time, how much love and care goes into cultivating good compost. We had a compost pile at my house growing up, and one of the first things I learned is how different it is composting on 7 acres in central Maine versus on a 1/4 acre in Decatur. I got one of those rolling bin composters and put it on our porch. I learned you have to carefully tend the contents to make sure that you've got just the right ratio of carbonaceous materials to nitrous materials. I learned how bad the smell can get if you get that ratio wrong. And when Annie put up with my stinky experiments, I learned that home really is where the love is. This summer, thankfully, I have learned how rich and pleasant and earthy the aroma of a compost pile can be when you get it right. I can stick my head right down into the barrel now and take a big breath and feel connected to nature's processes of decomposition and recycling. It's a deep and special experience. You can take my word for it. That's okay. They say smell is the sense most associated with memory, and when I smell my compost, I am taken back to a place that feminist neo-pagan author Starhawk describes by writing this. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a half-remembered, half-envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter, a circle of hearing, a circle of healing, a circle of friends. Someplace we can be free. A circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace we can be free. This resonates with me because in my teen years, my UU congregation was where I most felt these things. Sometimes it was literally in a circle, like at our annual solstice bonfire that some of our friends from church hosted. We would gather around, seeing each other in the light of the flames, hoping that our hopes for the new year that we would write on little slips of paper and throw into the fire would come true. A circle of community that would join our strength to do the work that needs to be done. And so I have not been surprised when, at turn after turn on my spiritual journey, I have encountered the teachings of Starhawk. Her home is a 40-acre farm in Northern California where she cultivates not only food, but community. She practices and teaches permaculture, the art of designing beneficial relationships to produce systems modeled on natural systems. I bet her compost smells even better than mine does. She practices witchcraft, including the spiral dance, a ritual that she writes is designed to emphasize community and rebirth, and is also used to raise the power in a ritual. She told a newspaper in 2004, quote, "We have a saying, anything you send out magically returns to you 3 times over." When I was younger, I certainly experimented by doing a lot of love spells. Eventually, it worked. But there were times when the goddess seemed to be sending me anyone. A couple of years ago, my professor at Harvard Divinity School, Dan McCannon, sent out a family newsletter that referenced Starhawk's definition of magic as the art of changing consciousness at will. The art of changing consciousness at will. That is why if we as a congregation and as a movement want to build and promote a peaceful world community, we must start that work from the foundation of a loving community. When I was growing up, I received explicit messages about the power of the feminine divine and the goddess in worship. My family would go camping in the woods and talk about how what we were seeing and experiencing informed these beliefs. My friend, Greg Boyd, one of the trustees of our Unitarian Universalist Association, told me this summer how he believes that one can count oneself as a Unitarian Universalist as growing up as a Unitarian Universalist. If UUism is where you went through the synthetic conventional stage of faith development, that is, if your baseline understanding of spirituality and belief was formed in a UU context. And that's what happened for me. The belief in feminist, pagan magic was a big part of how I grew up knowing the world spiritually. And so when I think about why robust UU religious exploration programs are important for children and youth, I know from my own experience how powerful a gift it is to bake into one's consciousness a belief in the transformative nature of magic and the strength of a loving community. Since that time, I have found spiritual homes in several different places in the country and have been able to truly affirm that home is where the love is. Home is where a circle of hands will open to receive you, a circle of healing, and a circle of friendship. I can't imagine UUCA not being that. And so I know that even though our physical location will move this year, we will still be a spiritual home for seekers. Sometimes, though, even with this background and support, I find myself doubting the power of love and worrying that in the end it's all just some feel-good nonsense that doesn't make a difference in the real world. Some of you might be thinking that right now. So to offer all of us some further evidence of the real-world power of love, let me talk for a moment about Dabo Swinney, coach of the college football champion Clemson Tigers. In an interview directly after the... Fair enough. In an interview directly after the national championship game this year, Swinney told a reporter, "I told my guys that the difference in the game was going to be love. It's been love all year. I said, tonight we're going to win it because we love each other. I said, we're going to love each other out there on the field." It turns out love is not just a powerful force for spiral dances in the Bay Area, but for Deshaun Watson rollouts also. And it makes sense if you think about it. 13th century Dominican Saint Thomas Aquinas observed, love is a commitment to selflessly willing the good of the other. What better strategy for healthy teamwork or a healthy religious community? And Swinney is not the only football coach who has preached the power of love. University of Houston coach Tom Herman kisses each one of his players on the cheek before every game, and any of his players that score a touchdown have to go and give a hug to an offensive lineman, to one of the players on the team who didn't get to touch the ball. Another well-chronicled football coach who believes in the power of love is Joe Ehrman, who brings his team together before every game, and he asks them, "What is our job?" And all the players respond together, "To love each other." I've always wanted to give that a try, if y'all will indulge me here. So I'm going to say, "What is our job?" And you all are going to say, "To love each other." What is our job?
To love each other.
Once more. What is our job?
To love each other.
Oh, that was so good. Folks, whether we are drawn to feminist neo-pagan magic or the violent blood sport that is college football, whether you appreciate spiral dances or spiral passes, what we do and who we are must be grounded in love. And our home, above all, must be a place of love, warmth, compassion, and community, a circle of hands and healing and friendship that opens to receive all who enter. In this way, may we begin and continue the process of cultivating peace in our hearts and in our homes, so that the power of love can overcome the love of power. Here and wherever we go as a congregation and as a community, our task is clear. What is our job?
To love each other.
What is our job?
To love each other.
What is our job?
To love each other.
Peace, salam, shalom, and may it be so.
Amen.